Yo, what is up guys, and welcome back to a brand new F1 Esports video on this channel. It's been a while since I've uploaded. Actually, I uploaded 2 days ago, but before that it's been a long time. I think it was 2 months where I didn't upload. My apologies, but as you can see, I was kind of busy with F1 Esports, and we were kind of at the end of the game cycle anyway. As some of you guys might know, next Wednesday, the not new game comes out, but the new DLC comes out. So I don't know how I'm gonna plan this yet with F1 Esports videos, but yeah, I'm gonna upload every day, at least for the next few weeks. Of course, because of the new content coming out with the DLC, but also to upload these F1 Esports videos. So yeah, also uploaded some Forza Horizon videos for the people who are interested in that on the Jarno Opmore channel. But now let's head into the first round of F1 Esports around China. And yeah, as you can see, we're heading out for our first qualifying lap here in Q1. Obviously, as per usual, just like in League Racing, we're going to try and make it into Q2 on a single set of tires. But it's the first qualifying of the season. The pressure is going to be on. It won't be easy. And expect, because the pressure is going to be on, the qualifying times for the second run in Q1 might be a lot faster because people might be a little bit nervous, you know. But yeah, that's something we're just going to have to think about. As there's a little bit of interesting tire warm-up going on here. I'm sure people have seen that on the broadcast for the people who were watching the first race of the season. But yeah, basically what we were doing is let go of the steering wheel, and then yeah, that's just heated up the front tires a lot. And yeah, it got banned straight away after this qualifying session. But yeah, we might have found a way around that after that, but you will see that in future videos. But here we go then, our first qualifying lap in the F1 2026 Esports Series into turn 1. Big bottoming going on in turn 1. Sometimes you hit that bump in the apex and sometimes you don't. More often than not you hit it though, and it just costs you time. It's very annoying because it just seems to be RNG whether you hit it or not. But that time around we did hit it, but it doesn't matter too much at this point yet. First one in Q3, we can make up for the time if we do a good rest of the lap for sure. Good hairpin, little bit of slide, big flick as well. And Otis Lawrence goes to a provisional P1 with a 130.595. See if you can beat that early on the power to get a good exit here. And the same for the next few corners come out. Very long back straight, 51.0 split into the last sector. Not too bad for a first Q1 lap. A little bit under the limits maybe through that right-hander, but the exit is so important here. Our teammate Freddy Rasmussen goes on to P1 by over a tenth. So the pace is there. As you can see me running some interesting lines here on the back straight, driving over the drainage on the inside. A lot of weird lines on the straight on this F1 game. It was the same on the last game, to be honest. But yeah, every thousandth of a second matters, of course. Through the final corner we go. Quite clean, no invalidation, and it's a 130.592, and that puts us to P5, right behind Alfie Butcher. And that was enough to make it into Q2. We've saved the set of tires there, and yeah, that's crucial. P12 it is. Istvan Pukki, Ruben Pedreno, and John Evans out in Q1 there. So yeah, 2 sets of tires for Q3, if we make it, of course. Very important. And even though the first one in Q3 is probably not going to get you pole, it still gives you the feeling. And it can just give you some momentum onto that final run in Q3. This is a used tire run at the very start of Q2. Just first, only 3 people finished that lap, but we were the fastest out of those 3 people. This is our first run in Q2 on new sets of tires. And as you can see, we are nearly half a second up, over half a second up as we get through the hairpin into the final corner. Good final corner. And that is gonna be P6 still quite a few people that have to finish their laps though, so we are going to drop to the field a little bit. So we are going to have to go again. We're down in P8, and this lap will not be enough to make it into Q3 for sure. So we have to improve, and the pressure is on once again to put in a top level lap time. That's just how it is. At this level, every time you go into the final run of a qualifying session, it has to be top level. It has to be world record quality in order to make it through. And through the first couple of corners we go, and we're 200s up. And that's not a lot, but if we just improve another 200s in Sector 2 and another 200s in Sector 3, it's probably enough to make it into Q3. So that's what we need to do. We're 8.5 up as we head through the middle sector. No mistakes can be made here. Good left-hander there. A little bit of a moment on the exit, which cost us a little bit of time. But we're 1.2 tenths up as we head into the final sector. 1,000s down on Thomas Ronhaar, who's in P6. But obviously, he clearly did not have the greatest of last sectors. Nicolas Longley goes P1 with a 1:30.160. That's a very good lap time. He was P1 in Q1 as well. And again, we're going on the inside on the long back straight. Not everyone was doing this. But yeah, we were into the chicane we go. Not a great hairpin, not a terrible hairpin. We're 700s up. We need a clean final corner if we want to make it into Q3. Which we do. It's 700s up, and it is P7, just enough to make it into Q3 by the smallest of margins once again. As you can see there, 2.300s clear of Thomas Gal. And yeah, margins are very small. This is such a long track with so many corners. It's so technical, and the margin is only 2.300s from getting dropped out of Q2. On to our first new tire run in Q3 then. Not the greatest of laps, as you can see, a 1:30.418. That was slower than on Q2 lap. So that's not ideal. But yeah, in the end of the day, the final run is where it matters the most anyway. So this is the one that counts, and where we need to get our shit together. 20 seconds left on the clock, and still a lot of people that have to cross the line behind me. We're only the fourth to cross the line. So yeah, turn one there. As you can see, we didn't get the bottoming, and we're instantly around 200s up into the next left-hander. A little bit deep into the left-hander. But nonetheless, still between 300 and 400s up as we head into Sector 2. 4,000 down on Thomas Ronhaar in P4. Good hairpin, as you can see there. 1.2 times improvement. And into the middle sector, we had very important to be smooth through those corners. And then an aggressive flick into the left-hander early on the power. Keep the rear stable, a little bit of a moment on the exit, which will have cost us some time. Into the final sector we go. 1.5 tenths up on Thomas Ronhaar and 2 tenths up nearly on our own lap time. Let's see if we can get a good exit from here. A little bit of a moment again. We're not quite there yet under traction. As you can see, the car ahead of us using the drainage on the inside as well. Into the hairpin we're going to go, and this is where you can gain so much lap time if you get it right. Down to second gear and a little bit of a micro slide. You can see how much time we've gained. Teammate Freddie Rasmussen goes to provisional pole. Into the final corner we go. Can we challenge him for pole position? Perhaps we can't, but it is P4 for now, with still a lot of people having to finish the lap time. So we're just going to have to wait and see where we end up in this qualifying session. Thomas Ronhaar, I think, went wide there out of the final corner, so he's not going to improve. And that means we are in P5. Not great, not terrible. Here in China, 1.4 tenths away from our teammate. P5 it is. And yeah, we can fight from here. P5 on the grid. Last year we started P3, I think so. And we won. But not too shabby. Let's see what we can do in the race. As you can see there, I've got my hard medium strategy on the top, medium hard on the bottom. medium hard is selected at the moment, just waiting and seeing what the rest of the grid's gonna do, but I decided to go with medium hard in the end. Underfueling the car a little bit because we're expecting to be in traffic quite a bit this race. And the more you're in traffic, the more fuel you save, of course. So, here we go then. First race of the F1 Esports season, starting in P5. And it's lights out, and away we go. We got Nicolas Longe on the hards behind, right ahead of us. And as you can see, he didn't get a great start. We're gonna have a little look into turn 1. And we're gonna make it 3 wide in turn 1, trying to gain 2 positions straight away. It's very tight. I have to go over the grass in the right-hander to make sure Alfie and Nico have enough space to fit through there. And we've gained 1 position, which was crucial to get past the hard runner straight away into turn 1. Unfortunately, we couldn't get past Alfie Butcher ahead of us. Joris Kruisen going for a little bit of a send down the inside there. I had to leave him some space. And now we can go for a move maybe somewhere else on the opening lap, but it's quite unlikely. You can see the gaps are straight away 4 to 5 tenths due to the dirty air. So yeah, just gonna have to sit back here, try and pressurize Alfie in a mistake, but that is fairly unlikely because Joris is really close behind us. He is able to follow us quite closely, so perhaps he's running some higher down for setup, but then he's gonna suffer here on this long back straight, of course. So yeah, gaining quite a lot here actually on the back straight compared to both Alfie and Joris. So perhaps we're lower wings. It's hard to say, of course, but doesn't mean too much. A lot of different setups you can run on this game. So end of the opening lap, 1 position gained to Nicolas Longe. And at the end of lap 7, you can see Alfie Butcher going into the pits, going for the undercut on the top 2. And now we've got a little bit of a gap to close up to. We gotta make sure we stay in the DRS of the car ahead. So we gotta push here on those in laps. End of lap 10, as you can see, 2 cars ahead of me boxing. And as Freddy is leading, we have to stay out and go for at least 1 lap more. We didn't really react to Alfie because obviously we couldn't undercut him. He has already undercut the 2 cars ahead of him. So we just decided to go longer and you have better tires for the rest of the race. We got quite a few hard runners now behind us. Otis Lawrence in P3, Nicolas Longe in P5. And I think me, Joris Kruisen and Ismail Fassi are the last of the bunch on the medium runners. And yeah, we are going to be boxing at the end of this lap as well. So we just got to make sure we keep Joris behind on this in lap, which is not going to be easy because he will have DRS on that long back straight. We won't. A little bit of a moment there. Tires are starting to struggle. We got 100% battery though, so we're going to use that here on this in lap in order to keep Joris behind, and in order to also minimize the undercut the cars ahead on this cut. You can see Alfie on the mini map is quite a bit ahead of Freddy. I think around 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds at this point, but obviously Alfie did box really early and will have to tire save in this race in order to make it to the end, and he will have slower tires. Into the hairpin we go. We managed to stay ahead, and Otis behind us goes for the move on Joris Kruisen. But I think Joris will box at the end of this lap as well. So here we go then into the pits. Make sure we don't speed, because otherwise it's an instant 5-second penalty, and we cannot have that. That would be a race ending pretty much. 5-second penalty will be the difference between P1 and P12 probably. So onto the hards, and we gotta push straight away coming out of the pits, because as you can see on the left, that's Alfie passing us, and we will not have DRS. We are allowed to cross the pit exit line there, as long as you don't cause an incident, and obviously there was no one there, so just freely cross it. And that just gains us a little bit of extra time. Yours 9.5 tenths behind, 8.5 tenths behind. We got to push and get back into the DRS of the car ahead. Yeah, that's crucial for a race. And yeah, yours 8.5 tenths behind, so we do have a little bit of margin there to play with. And I think it won't be too long before we catch up. Obviously, we only have a 1 lap tire advantage to Freddy, which is not too much, but Alfie is leading this train through the middle sector, which is very lovely. I think they're going to start fighting soon. Obviously, Freddy will get a free pass on Alfie on this long back straight, but Ulas behind Freddy will try and pass Alfie as well, of course, and he does quite a bit of tire advantage to Alfie, so there'll be some battling going on here. I reckon 1.7 seconds is the gap, so we have closed the gap a little bit there. And as you can see up ahead, they are fighting. And that's going to help us to close that gap. See, the gap increased by like 4 or 5 tenths, but that is with the help of DRS and Slipstream and the fact that they're spamming their ERS to try and keep track position from each other. So 1.9 seconds is the gap. But that's going to increase a lot or decrease a lot in the middle sector due to dirty air. So we should be getting DRS at the end of this lap. 1.6 seconds the gap now, and that is only going to decrease throughout this middle sector. We're going to burn our battery as well in order to make sure we do get DRS and have some protection from the cars behind, of course. And yeah, not a whole lot of hard medium runners, to be honest, or medium hard runners I should say, a lot of hard medium runners. You can see we are down in P16, nearly last, but that's purely due to the fact that there's so many hard medium runners. Otis Lawrence is leading that train ahead of Nicolas Longe, and you can see that Ferrari that is leading there is still on the medium hards, going really long and going for a bit of an unusual strategy. But sometimes that's what you need to do to make your race work. Go for an unusual strategy. And now we get DRS again, which is very lovely. Lap 17. And as you see, we've gone up to P8, which is a net P4. When we got 3 cars ahead of us that are on the same strategy. But as you can see there's some blocking going on here. People trying to slow down the medium hard strategy to help their teammates who are on the hard medium strategy. Now, no one wants these strategies in F1 Esports. It's annoying. No one wants to do this, but it's just a valid strategy in order to help your teammate. And the prize money is only in the team championship, and that's why this happens. You can see Isvan Pukki has some wing damage, and to be honest, he did this very cleanly. He didn't really went out of his way to crash into us or force us off the track. He just wanted to hold us up a little bit, which he did. He probably slowed us down by around 1 to 1.5 seconds, maybe 2 seconds. And the same for Ruben Pedreño, trying to slow us down. And yeah, now, because of this, perhaps we can have a little go on Alfie Butcher ahead. He still has 4-lap all the tires, but we just don't really seem to be able to have a good chance. Every time we come out of the long right-hander, we're so far behind, as the dirty air is so big, as there's some fighting going on behind us. And yeah, it would be really nice if we can get past here, but it's easier said than done. A little bit of a mistake from Alfie there, and now we perhaps can have a go into turn 1. You can see he's flashing, and we're gonna try and go around the outside, go for the switchback in turn 1. But there's just not enough space, and if we would have gone for it there, we would have definitely caused an incident. So we're gonna have to sit back, but we do have a whole lot more battery. The issue just is that Alfie has an 8-10 gap, and we have a 2-10 gap ahead of us. So we get so much dirty air, and then we do not get any slipstream down the back straight, which is just the issue we've had on this game the whole time. I think it's also down to the fact of how the ERS works in this game, which I'm not going to explain, but it just also makes overtaking worse. So again, let's see what we can do. Alfie has had the chance to recharge a little bit in this middle sector, but we have had as well. 3 tenths behind as we head through the Snell section, and as you can see, he just pulls away. He doesn't have the dirty air that we have, and he just gained like a tenth there. And that might just be enough to keep us behind. So once again, spamming the overtake, but it's just not going to be enough. We're trying to have a move into the hairpin, but again, it would have to be really late on the brakes, and dive bombing is illegal in F1 Esports. However, that seems to be changing a little bit per race as well. 2.5 tenths is the gap to Alfie Butcher, but once again, he's flashing, and I decided to recharge and have a little go somewhere else because we couldn't really have a go. Every time the gap out of the exit of the corner was too big, and the issue I had as well was that the hard medium train was catching. If I would drain my battery and the hard mediums catch up, then they would get free passes, and we cannot have that. We only got to keep these hard mediums behind for 1 or 2 laps, then their tires will drop off too much relative to the hards that they will not really have any more opportunities in the last few laps. But we got to keep them behind for 1 or 2 laps first. We got Otis Lawrence behind us on that hard medium strategy, and you can see we're leaving a little bit of a gap now as well, so we get less dirty air from the car ahead. But the hard medium still has more grip than us, and you can see Otis gets to run, and he actually tapped us on the back a little bit there, but that was due to lag. The lag we had in the first 2 events of F1 Esports was absolutely insane. So every time someone got close to you, there was quite a big chance they were going to hit you. And yeah, just unsettle your car a little bit, which is what happened there. But ironically, I think it might have helped us a little bit there because it stopped the run Otis got on us on that long back straight, and it just saved us a little bit there perhaps. So yeah, into turn 1 we go. Now we can recharge again a little bit. We just got to make sure we keep it tight through here. Wider line for some reason never really works on the F1 game. In real life you see them go really wide in turn 1. We cannot do that. It's just a whole lot slower most of the time. So once again, we managed to keep Otis behind for 1 more lap. Every corner we stay ahead, we increase the chance of staying ahead as the mediums get worse and worse. So recharging our battery once again for that long back straight, making sure we got the gap to Alfie, who, as you can see, he's lifting through there quite a lot to save his tires because yeah, he boxed so early. And at the moment it's starting to look like that strategy might have actually worked. So yeah, Otis once again behind us, and he might get another run here through the long right-hander. Yeah, it's such a slow speed corner, which has the biggest advantage for the mediums relative to the hards, and a little bit of a moment there for us as again some contact through there, and that causes yours to get through, and that helps us massively. Again, I think there was some lag involved. I think Otis drove onto the curb and makes another mistake there, dropping him another position. And yeah, that just seals the deal for us. Now we can focus on Alfie. We actually have to focus a little bit on Joris there. But he boxed in the same lap. He has no tire advantage to us, so unless we make a mistake, we will be safe. All of this little battling though has helped Alfie to save some tires, which is not ideal. But now we need to go for a move on Alfie Butcher in the final lap if we want to get that final podium position. Freddy still leading, getting the points in the Constructors' Championship, which this year there's only prize money for the Team Championship, unlike last year where there's quite a big prize pool for the Driver Championship as well. So in that sense the Team Championship is more important, but the Driver Championship obviously I would say is a little bit more prestigious, but Team Championship very important, of course, financially as well. So Let's see what we can do. Can we have a go at Alfie Butcher here in the final lap? We're trying to get as close as possible, but it's not easy. The dirty air is not helping us. We're on all tires. As Freddy is weaving there to break the toe into the final sector. Let's see if we can have a little go on this long back straight. Traction is not easy. I'm trying to get some clean air on my car, but we just couldn't. And the gap is now 3.5 tenths. Unless Alfie runs out of battery really early on in the straight, we're not going to be able to have a go. And we're just going to have to stay behind. Again, we could go for a very risky dive bomb, but bigger chance at causing an accident and dropping more points. And in the end of the day, the difference between P3 and P4 is only 3 points. So we're going to settle for P4. And I think we're actually the only team on the grid that had both cars in the points. Freddy winning the race, 25 points. Getting the pole position, giving him 26 points. Or giving him the extra points, totaling him on 26 points. And then us finishing in P4 with 12 points. Which means we're leading the Constructors' Championship by quite a lot. Straight away after round 1. Crucial start of the championship. Obviously, it would have been very nice if we managed to bring it home in P1. But it's going to be a long season. And we just have to be consistent. Consistently be in the top 5, top 4. If we want to fight for the driver's title as well. That's crucial. And that's what we're going to try and do. Hope you guys enjoyed the first round of the 2026 F1 Esports Series. Make sure to like and subscribe. And see you guys next time. Ciao.